Mayank, I've never been a fan of horror films at all, but you subjected yourself to Jessabelle for some reason.
How do you know I subjected myself?
Tell
Maybe
me.
you had a good time.
Tell this audience that's sitting here rapt attention what you thought.
Well, you know, at the end of the day, it really boils down to if you're a fan or not of the genre itself. I think you need to be a believer to enjoy a horror film. Or if you're not a believer like me, then you have to go with a believer so you can at least, you know, suspend yourself into disbelief in moments where, you know, the spooky parts come in and the moments that don't. You know, that whole thing is an experience by itself. I don't think you can intellectualize a horror film in that sense. And I was sitting with someone who was going nuts throughout the film. So clearly I knew that movie is not so bad. And I had gone with the same person to watch another film, which is Isabelle, not Jessabelle. And, you know, there was no reaction, so I knew that was not a good film. Isabelle, of course, being the prequel to Conjuring, which I thoroughly enjoyed, even though I'm not a huge horror film fan. I think, you know, by and large, if you're not someone who's into, you know, into the genre, I think the first thing that hits you is the plot points and how they don't work. So here is this person in this film who lives in this house and she's constantly spooked throughout the film. But at no point does she feel like leaving the house, you know, maybe renting it to somebody else, you know, selling it. So, you know, while you feel really bad for the character, you don't sort of believe that this character exists because they don't live in the real world. And that was my big problem with the film. Of course, there are certain parts which is done really well. In terms of it being shot really well, in terms of them, you know, tackling certain elements of voodoo and occult pretty well. But no, not my kind of movie.
Good. Well, there you have it. No Isabelle, no Jessabelle. At this time of year, only Jingle Bell.
Well, that's it for Friday Double Bill. Tell us what you thought of the movies. Tell us what you think of the show.